Thomas? You seem particularly triggered right now. Can you tell me what happened?
I've had dreams that weren't just dreams. Am I crazy?
We don't use that word in here.
Hi.
Have we met?
One pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. And the ones that mother gives you don't do anything at all. Go ask Alice when she's 10 feet tall.
Time to fly.
And if you go chasing rabbits,
If you want the truth, Neo, you're going to have to follow me.
and you know you're going to fall.
The only thing that matters to you is still here. I know it's why you're still fighting and why you will never give up. You don't know me. No?
When logic and proportion have fallen, so be dead. And the white is talking backwards, and the red queens are overhead. Remember what the Dharma
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
Hello, welcome to the Matrix. No, actually, no. You know what? I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I was expecting Dion to talk. Quite frankly, this has all been a very worrying and emotional time.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Quinny. Should we start again? What if we reset
Yes.
this?
Yes, let's
It's like
reset.
some
Okay,
form
let's
of
just reset the whole fucking thing. Let's start again from scratch.
Deja vu.
Um,
Deja vu.
All over
Deja
again.
vu.
Oh God. Hello, welcome to the periodic table of awesome. I am Mr. Quinn.
Oh no. Hello, and I am Mr. Dion.
Dion's your last name, is it?
I mean, I'm Peter, and I'm clearly not playing whatever you guys are playing down there.
Oh, what do you mean you're not playing what I like? I've just been taking all of these red pills all day, and I feel great. It's amazing.
Cool story, Chad.
Chad. Oh,
Wow.
dear. Cool story,
Right.
Chad.
Yeah, great, good. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the filter because, quite frankly, it's all just a little bit too stupid. So there.
You fucking
Oh
asshole.
yeah, like you weirdo. You're wearing dumb glasses. You wouldn't do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's fucking
So you put
stupid,
those
Quinny.
on.
Why did you put on those stupid glasses? I'll turn. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you
Be
go.
cool like me.
Okay, right. I'll go back to my shitty
Oh,
GeoCities
dear.
background.
Yeah.
Mine's animated. I
Yeah.
found it online for free. It changes color.
Like Christmas lights.
Oh God.
I
So-
mean, so many visual gags.
I
today.
know.
The
Oh, yeah,
listening
yeah.
audience is going to be thrilled.
I was going to say
Oh.
to
Great for
all
the
of our
podcast.
fantastic podcast audio-only audience, we're sorry.
It's
We
working.
thought that this would be hilarious for us.
It's working very well concordantly. Thank you, Peter.
vis-a-vis
Vis-a-vis.
special effects. You know what? Ergo.
Ergo vis-a-vis. It's working.
Yeah.
You
Yes.
wrote your scripts.
I don't know. Will Ferrell wrote mine, but you know.
And AI is writing what I'm reading right now.
Yes, we ran the periodic table of awesome through an AI, and this is
Oh
what
my
spat out the
God.
other end.
Yes.
That actually tracks.
It really does.
Yeah.
I love it because both Peter and Jill are completely normal and, you know, doing shit as is completely normal. Meanwhile, Dion and Quinny are just like, I'm a
I know
program.
that Bren's like, these are better effects than in the movie.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean,
All right,
let's be honest, it's not
Let's
exactly
save it.
hard. Is it?
Oh, that's better. Oh.
Save it for the review.
I mean,
Okay.
what movie? Because if you can't see you guys, you might not know yet still.
True. That is absolutely true. What are we talking about, Dion? What is the actual name of the film that we are reviewing this week?
This one is The Matrix 4 or The Matrix Resurrections, which we're kind of going, and I'm like, let it die.
Wow.
There is no need for resus, guys. I mean, but that's just an easy cheap gag, and that's not actually what I feel like. I'm not preloading anything here.
I was going to say, you're sort of telling us, you're showing your hand before we played the game, Dion.
Sure. Well, what game? I'd rather play the Matrix game. Anyway, look, no, it's a this is a terrible idea. We're talking about the Matrix Resurrections, which is the sequel to the original trilogy of films that came out after the first Matrix came out, which redefined the idea of cyberpunk noir science fiction thriller thing.
Yes.
So it's the fourth movie in the series.
Absolutely. It's the
To
fourth
lessen
one.
the confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Matrix 4, where everyone's a lot older or totally new.
Yeah.
Better recasting than the Marvel Universe, that's all I've got to say. Like, if you want to see how shit works, it's just like, oh, wow. Okay. Cool. Anyway.
So before we dive in and I give you the synopsis of what the film is, I would like to know a little bit of your history in terms of what you've had to do with the Matrix in the past. How many different versions of the Matrix have you been around for, Jill? How many of the other films have you watched?
Been alive for all of them.
Okay. How many did you watch and give a shit about?
I know that I watched the first one. I have absolutely zero recollection if I watched 2 and 3, but I'm probably gonna guess that I didn't watch them.
But that was the fight for Zion. How do you know unless you've gone to an underground orgy rave?
Actually, you know what? I think I probably did see the second one, but I really
Right.
don't remember any of it. And I watched the Animatrix, if that counts.
It does. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. It does absolutely count.
Yes. Okay, so Peter, what is your historical background with Le Matrix?
Hold on.
You shut that shit right down, Quinny, because there's no fucking Merovingian fucked up French accent in this podcast. I'm putting my foot down. No.
Oh, but come on. I really wanted to be the shit accent.
No. There is only one person who does a shit French accent on this podcast, and it's moi.
Outrageous. Okay, Peter.
Sorry, Peter.
Yeah, Pete, please go on.
I saw the first movie. I loved the first movie. The first movie came at a time where I was just kind of starting to get interested in cool, nerdy filmmaking shit. And there was some cool, nerdy filmmaking shit done in the first movie. And also it's just, you know, a typical perfect hero's journey. Like structurally, it's a great film. And then I watched the second film. Yeah. And then I thought that I didn't bother watching the third film, but then I watched a recap when it became obvious a few minutes into watching this one that I would need to know what had previously happened. And I recognized a bunch of shit that was apparently in the third film, so I must have watched it and erased it from my memory. So for me, The Matrix is The Matrix.
Okay.
Done.
Yeah.
I would not have watched this film if we weren't going to be talking about it. I had
exactly
no
intention of
excitement,
watching it either.
no interest. Like the original Matrix film for me is like great and like
Look,
holds a bit of a special place.
Yeah, it was a peak cultural moment of its time.
Absolutely.
And I say of its time. We did not need to revisit it.
Well, it did kind of come at that perfect time where it was kind of enough to make you think, wait, are we in the Matrix?
Well, okay, it was a very interesting exploration of simulation theory, and it was the most populist attempt at explaining simulation theory to a broad audience. And that was pretty ballsy for 1997 or whatever the fuck it was.
Also,
Like-
because it was made in Australia too, so
Was.
you know.
Yes.
It was. They were. I think at least the first two were made in Australia. I'm not sure about the third.
No, I'm pretty sure they were
yeah,
all
I
made in
think so.
Australia.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
they
pretty
did.
sure
They did a lot of LA highway chase filming over there, but they still did a majority of it here. I thought.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually can't quite remember whether the third one got as much. Certainly, the second one did. But yeah, no. Anyway, it doesn't matter because it was kind of shit. Let's be honest. The third one was definitely the
Phony.
moment where it really was no longer working.
Not the second one. I mean, come on. The second
Wait,
one
the second
utterly
one was
stopped making
marketed
sense.
all around having the twins as well, because it's
Yeah.
like it's the second one, so we got two people. I'm like,
Yeah,
Twins.
yeah.
What do you mean?
And-
Wait, how do people not understand that the entire Matrix, like sequel parts, like 2 and 3, like Reloaded and Revolutions, is about Clayton Watson, the kid. He's the linchpin figure, and the one that was put. Nope. Lost
I don't
everyone.
get the
No.
joke.
Okay, fine.
Yep.
Well, you see, there you go. You've totally forgotten about one of the main characters of those.
Yes.
obviously.
Absolutely. And everyone just remembers the underground sweat orgy.
Yes.
Well, I love that thing too. They're like, we're finally going to get to see Zion, the human city, after the machines. And then everyone's like, I don't want to go there ever. 'Cause
Yeah,
they
it
just,
smells.
it looked bad.
It is the city of BO and barbecue.
Yes.
Um,
I bet you it smells a lot of patchouli down there. It's like sandalwood and patchouli is the smell of Zion.
And yet an awful lot of weird smells of like metal and oil as well, because all of these people still have their weird little metal plugs all over them.
Yeah.
And I'm
Do you reckon
guessing
have a
they don't
leak?
smell good. Anyway.
I mean, things that I haven't considered. I didn't lose interest because of the smell. I lost interest because it stopped making sense. It stopped making sense the second Neo had powers outside of the simulation. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's why he's Neo.
How?
That's why he's the one of many
Yes.
ones.
But Dion,
Yes.
but why?
But
Ah.
Um,
Where
And
is
also, but how?
yeah,
Oh no.
more important.
She's evolving as a program.
Oh no. Quick, cut it down. Cut down
Yeah,
Peter's
yeah,
AI.
yeah.
We're done. We're done.
Pull the plug on the Peter program. She's become dangerous. She's self-aware.
Oh dear.
I guess you're right. Like, because the first one is a perfectly self-contained film, and it does everything it needs to do. It turns your hero into a superpowered, demigod, and destroys the big bad guy, and that's perfectly great. And then there's two other films where they go, he's not all powerful yet, and the bad guy needs to be. Oh, and there's other bad guys. Oh, and there's some mech and city. Yes.
Well,
But
you
the
know.
problem with the other two films is that he is overpowered. It's no longer interesting to watch when your main character can just do everything now. Like, it's a bit boring when he can like fly and bring people back to life and
But it
just
looks-
do whatever he wants to do.
But it looks fucking amazing. I love that bit in the second one where he just stands there and they'll shoot at him and he just fucking stops the bullets in midair and everyone's like, okay, you're obviously better than we thought. Fuck it. Like, that's kind of fun. I like that shit. And introduced new characters and got to see, the human city of Zion and got to find more out about
See, okay,
it.
you're fascinated with the human city of Zion, and I like that was one fucking line in that first film
Yeah.
where they're like, there is a
this
human city. That's all they fucking said. But then they spent two other movies going how important it is, and it's like, I don't care.
I mean,
Go back to the Matrix where people wear cool clothes.
in the danger of stepping on Peter's toes, as we remember from a few podcasts ago, she is the industry. When film when filmmakers get a successful project and the distributors and everyone comes at them with dump trucks full of money and say, you're going to make more, and you're like, fuck, I haven't thought this through. You just make bad decisions, like The
Is
Hobbit.
there going to be a
That's how we
fish
get the Hobbit
city
trilogy.
in the next Puff documentary?
Oh, yes, for sure. When it's so incredibly successful that they give us wheelbarrows full of money to make the Puff sequel, it's going to get weird, I'll tell you that, because we pretty
Puff
much
Reloaded.
exhausted what you can do with a fish in that hour.
Where the fuck is Puff's bullet time moment?
Yeah.
I look, and I mean, even this one, like, okay, because I know we're getting a little bit caught up in the whole kind
You
of
think?
previous trilogy, but I like the fact that this one is. I can't decide whether or not this film, like, that Resurrections, is taking the piss of everything in the first three films, or it's trying to tie them together into a way that kind of makes a little bit more sense, or it's trying to do both. I'm not sure.
I would go for a third option of it's flogging a dead horse.
A resurrected dead horse.
A resurrected dead horse.
I think Dion's question was more about the intention than the actual result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about the result in the spoiler section. I'm talking about what is this film trying to do apart from going down ye old nostalgia mine yet again.
Dion, should we do a synopsis, and can I have?
Sure.
I'd like to have some music behind my synopsis.
when we think back to The Matrix, we think back to all those wonderful scenes shot around Sydney that we all recognise and go to all the time. But also we think about it for all of the bangers that came out of there, especially because we needed to learn about techno punk and all that good shit.
Yes.
Also, did anyone have any shiny pants? Because I didn't. Totally didn't. No, I did. I had some shiny pants.
To find out if his reality is a physical or mental construct, Mr. Anderson, aka Neo, will have to choose to follow the White Rabbit once more. If he's learned anything, it's that choice, while an illusion, is still the only way out of or into the Matrix. Neo already knows what he has to do, but what he doesn't yet know is vis-a-vis the Matrix, it is stronger and concordantly more secure. And even though he is irrevocably human, it is far more dangerous than ever vis-a-vis, ever concordantly. If I have no fucking idea. What the?
What is happening?
That just got like instrumentally like more confusing, just like the movie.
Yes. Yeah. That's my attempt to add some kind of bad Agent Smith thing. And I'm sorry to Hugo Weaving. I apologize. I feel very bad for doing that to your lovely accent. But also to Jonathan Groff. I would also like to apologize because apparently they're the same fucking character.
I would like to apologize
spoilers.
to Jonathan Groff for actually appearing in this movie.
There we are.
Well,
Okay. I would like to make a case for like not being like too bitchy about this film, because there are like some lots of elements of it that I liked. So, for example, I like Jonathan Groff.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
And I'm a fan of Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
There are some things that I like. There was some kind of humorous, self-referential moments, which were interesting. There is sort of like an interesting plot device where like our reality and the Matrix reality kind of weirdly folds in on itself at some point, but confusing, but interesting. I haven't seen it done before. That, innovative storytelling. Look,
I appreciate.
Yes, I am grasping. I'm
yeah, well, look, I had a lot of fun with all those pieces about it. Like when it started and it came, watching it, and it starts up and there's the Warner Brothers logo and the same sound, and then it dissolves into the thing, and I'm like, okay. And then it starts doing the same stuff, and then it becomes it goes meta straight away within the first 5 minutes. It's a meta story, and you're like, okay, no, I I'm down. I'm going to do this. Like, I'll get into all this sort of stuff. And then I think it became a little like, I mean, The Architect was a very meta narrative from Reloaded. And this was just like meta on meta on meta. And also trying to convince someone, like, I mean, I still don't know, like, is therapy good or bad? Should we be
I'll tell you it's good.
Should we be taking medication or not? Like, I mean, these are the sort of things. For someone that I was watching, it was like, is this an allegory for Scientology? And I was like, oh, okay, you're getting some more out of it than I thought. But
well, I mean, it's interesting because it was written by Lana Wachowski and not the two Wachowski sisters. So what we're getting here is one half of the original creative team. And I feel like there is a really interesting thing where maybe some of the reasons that the original was so successful is because there was the tension between the two, but also the original was such a huge trans allegory that both Lana and her sister, whose name I can't remember, unfortunately, have said, yes, it was very definitely, now that they have both transitioned. I feel like there was a lot that was trying to be said in that film that when you get to this film, it's like, what are you saying? What are we trying to say here?
Look, it did say one thing very definitively that I thought kind of corrected the record for the original series, but it's very spoilery, so I can't talk about it till later.
Right.
Okay, can I continue your metaphor, Quinny, by saying, did anyone read the original Red Dwarf books?
Yes.
Yeah.
All of them.
This makes perfect sense, Jill. I see your face. You're like, what are you going?
Yeah.
We're going forward to this, Dion. This makes perfect sense. With the original Red Dwarf books were written by two authors together writing them. And then when they ended that story, they went and they did their own versions of how it should go. And it reminded me a lot of that. Like there's a certain kind of magic that happened when they were both working together. And then when they went their separate ways in writing the continuation of those stories, they both had very valid ideas and very interesting directions that they were taking it, but it felt like they were missing a certain point of it that was going through. So this is what this kind of feels a bit like to me, which is, this is someone's version of what happened instead of the version of what happened. And I feel like almost I want to see Lily Wachowski's version. Like I want to see the Matrix 4A. Because
the addendum.
Just like a bookend, it's 4A and 4B, and it's just kind of like, they both went like this. But multiverse, we can do it. Fuck it, we're allowed to.
Yeah, I feel like when I said the tension between the two, I kind of mean that thing where somebody says to you at a certain point, maybe don't. It's important to have that person. And I mean, we all look at Peter Jackson when he got to do King Kong, and he didn't have somebody going, hey, PJ, maybe don't.
Quinny, you've been telling me to stop doing things for years. I've just been ignoring you.
I know, but it's still important that I keep telling you.
It's true. I'd miss you if you were there going, steady on, buddy.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a dumb
it's
idea.
Important. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of what we see here, because there are so many elements in this, and the meta-narrative stuff is very, very funny, but there's elements of it that are really clanging. Like when they're talking about the Matrix as a video game, and there's the whole sequence where they're trying to focus group it. I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
It dropped it for me when they called the husband Chad. And
I wasn't even going to get to Chad yet.
It came up in the chat, and I was like, oh my God.
Chad and Tiffany? Are you fucking kidding me?
I think that's the one that pushed Jill off the treadmill of this film.
Yeah, that was my first reaction is when I was watching this last night, because I'm like, oh shit, we have to review it. I guess I'll watch it.
I'm so sorry,
I was like, Tiffany and Chad, are you serious?
Yes.
Sorry, I like that true. It's 4A with Hugo Weaving, Lawrence Fishburne, and none of the other original actors. I like that idea.
Yeah, all the other ones, that's actually quite funny. I would do that because there are some actors that come back in, which I want to talk about in the spoilers, because there's a few ones that it's like absolutely 100% you're like, where's that actor? And other people come back in and you're like, I don't want that one. Why introduce that one? I don't want that one back. Give me another one.
It was one of those, somehow such and such came back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I gotta point out that like the whole bit about, you know, the meta-ness of the opening, where it's like, oh hey, you've been working on this video game your entire life called The Matrix, and everything you thought you knew about The Matrix was just your dream, and you made it into this video game. I was super confused, and I was like, wait, is that what the original Matrix was about? Like fucking 20 years or more. Like I forgot. I was like, was it video games?
No.
Oh, I totally missed that. And then I kept watching. I'm like, oh no, okay.
No.
This is why I googled a recap before I started watching.
How dare you?
So I was like, oh, I totally forgot that that was all video games that he was making. And I'm like, no, it wasn't, you idiot.
No.
The only thing that kind of broke that kind of meta idea, and I really liked that bit of it, that we get to see what's his name when it's not Neo, Thomas,
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson in this kind of new world that is ostensibly our world, where the Matrix is a fiction.
And a cultural touch point.
And a cultural touch point in the same way that it is. And I liked what they kind of drew out of that. But the one thing that broke it for me was this heavy lean into the bullet time thing, because I just couldn't it broke it for me, because like bullet time is what we call the camera technology that they used to capture those scenes in the first Matrix. And it broke for me that like bullet time is like a thing in this other universe where they're talking about the Matrix, because I'm like, no, that's a thing from our world. That was a thing that we called something that they made the movie with. That wasn't out of the movie.
Yes, that was the moment where like that theoretical glass pane behind you shatters and the world crumbles down. I was like, they're referencing themselves. And then I was out.
They're referencing the filmmakers and the outside of the film audience, rather than, you know, inventing a near world like ours. And it just, that broke that entire thing. And because the bullet time thing, it's not just a reference, it becomes like a thing.
Or
and
like
I'm
a
like,
gimmick.
no. How do these characters know what bullet time is?
Yeah.
Just
because they all are self-aware. Did you not know that?
But it didn't, because that's something from our world, outside of the film's world. It broke it for me.
It broke the fourth wall.
Like I like,
and you know what? I would have actually been more forgiving of it if they'd talked about The Matrix being a film series, as opposed to a game series, because when they're calling it a
time for a game series.
No, well, you don't need. I mean, they put bullet time in games and stuff like that. It is a thing that has been put into games, but Max Payne. Thank you, that's druidic. But when you take the thing that you're using as your meta narrative, and then you change it just a bit, so it wasn't a movie, it's now a game. It's kind of like, well, all of the ideas that go with it don't necessarily fit. Like games are about gameplay; they're not necessarily about this, you know, deep narrative and these characters and so forth.
But they did have games that went to the movies to explain stuff, like Matrix.
They did,
games.
and
like, there was a whole thing about like, you know, do you remember in Reloaded where there were other ships where you had to do like that were there and became part of the final battle? In the games, you had that was all about those other ships, so it gave you contextualization. I can see where you're coming from.
The Animatrix was in another ship and stuff as well. But like because the Matrix itself back in the 90s and early 2000s was a cultural thing. Like it was films, it was animation, it was games, it was comic books, it was
ARGs.
It was its own altered reality game and everything. It was all these things. But then when you say, okay, well, it was a game, to me, I was like, if you're going to fucking meta narrative, say that it was a film, say that it was a cultural touchstone, and then throw them into and try and set it into our reality.
If it was a film, it would add a whole other layer to the story of like, well, have I been acting the whole time?
Yes.
What is real life? What is me portraying a character? What is the Matrix?
Yeah, that to me, I like if you're gonna go meta, fucking do it, lean in. But as it was semi-meta.
It would have
and
been
it
really fun
allowed
if Neo had just gone, "Are you Neil Patrick Harris?" Like in the movie, and then everyone would have been like,
Exactly. Yeah.
"My therapist looks like Neil Patrick Harris." Would have been a great little throwaway line, and then you're like, "Okay, fine, all bets are off. We can go with this."
Yeah. Like it just,
Oh
to
my
me, it felt
God.
like it was not backing itself all the way, and it was trying to have a bit each way. And I was like, fuck it, just like when they showed moments where they go into, the Matrix again, and they're showing parts of the original film, we all know that's a film, not a game. So we're seeing shots of Lawrence Fishburne and, all those things, and we know it's a film. So there's a cognitive disconnect there between what we know and what we're seeing. And, there's this whole thing about fucking modes and nodes and modal things.
Modal nodes.
Where, yes,
It's a
modal
Star Wars
nodes.
reference.
Gonk.
Oh, okay, fine.
Fine. And we're in game territory, but then they recreate moments out of the film, but with different actors. And it's just like, fuck, what are you doing?
They're doing it in a modal to increase their ability for programs to evolve, and hence we get the recreate. Okay, fine.
It's like were they reskinning people in the Matrix?
Yeah, and how did they unlock that without paying? Like, it's kind of like, I want the Morpheus skin. Well, you got to grind it out, kids.
Yeah. Well, you can. Here's the Morpheus we have at home.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you've got the free Morpheus skin. I see. Yeah, you've got to complete all of the challenges and play for 7 days before you can unlock the Lawrence Fishburne Morpheus skin.
Yeah.
I don't want to get like too deep into like confusing territory, but wait, maybe that's a spoiler. I'll wait until the end. I'll wait until the end.
I mean, there are a lot of questions that are probably spoilery. I have more questions than answers from this film, and I mean, the answers are ones that I didn't ask questions to begin with. So.
Sure. I mean,
All right, I gotta try and remember to ask this.
Oh well, look, I'm happy. I'm keen to get into.
Who did we like in the film? Did we like Neo / Mr. Anderson?
Sure.
We always like Neo.
Yeah, it's like you can't attack Keanu Reeves. No,
he's like the nicest guy on the planet, apparently.
Yeah, like
okay. Did we like Tiffany?
I liked her song. I think we're alone now. But I can't actually find fault with any of the cast that returned, apart from one, which will become very obvious in the future, like in the spoilery part. But look, I think everyone did a really good job with what they were handed, and there were some cast members that were in there that I'm like, I want to know more about this kind of thing, and there were other cast members that I was like, move on. I got a bit annoyed that the Smiths. Wait, not the Smiths. The
band.
Agents. Yeah. And Morrissey. Like, oh man, what's he done now? I like the agents that were around were boring this time. Like I watched agents in this and saw them every time they appeared. I was like, fucking agents, whatever. They're useless now. I mean, they're supposed to be the attack dogs of the Matrix, and they're just pointless.
I loved the agents back in the first films because they'd show up and everybody would be like, oh, fuck, everything's getting dangerous now.
Yeah.
Now, agents show up and nobody cares, but the big danger is just Matrix zombies.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck me, really?
Yeah.
That was the best you could come up with.
Cyber zombies, Quinny. Cyber zombies.
God. Like, okay, I said to Dion earlier today, and he said it was harsh, but I was like, do you remember Independence Day? What was the sequel called?
Resurgence. I don't fucking know.
Resurgence. That's one. Do you remember Independence Day Resurgence?
I never watched Independence Day. I hated it.
How did you hate it if you never watched it?
Because I started watching it and I hate it, and I turned it off. So I didn't.
Okay.
So no is the answer to your question.
Okay. Nobody does, because it was a piece of shit that was 20 years later and was intended to be a sequel to a massively successful thing that managed to not get many, if any, of the original cast back and do a story that was essentially completely fucking useless in comparison to the rest of it. Oh, wait. I was, when I saw that they were doing this, I thought, oh God, please God, let it be another Independence Day resurgence. And that's exactly what this was to
They
me.
should have called it the Matrix Resurgence instead of Resurrection.
Well, they still can.
Oh.
We could do a sequel to this one and call it like the Matrix Resurgence, and then we can do the sixth one and call it the Matrix Resuscitation.
The Matrix Defibrillation.
The Matrix Retirement.
Do we?
Do you guys think that there is enough in here for like real Matrix fans? Because I'm not like a Matrix fan. I loved the first movie and then I dropped off. Like the way that Ghostbusters that we talked about last week, we were like, is there too much fan service? Can there be too much fan service? Is this going to do anything for anyone?
Okay, here's a good comparison because like the Ghostbusters sequel is 37 years after the original and did a fucking way better job than a 20 years later sequel did for the Matrix.
And I think the key thing with that is any fan service that is in Ghostbusters Afterlife is done with some kind of love and care. To me, this felt like, what can we get?
Yeah.
Who's available? What can
Come on, you're
Yeah, it was
so
like, hey
harsh.
Hugo, want to come back and do this movie? And he's like, fuck no. And they're like,
I think that's
You.
they couldn't find. Like, come on, you like.
Oh
That's-
my
that's-
God. If you could pick anybody else to play Agent Smith, I think Jonathan Groff was definitely at the bottom of my list. How do you have 2 Broadway stars in this movie and not a single musical number? I was like, no.
You leave my goth mum and
Wow,
dad
that would have been
alone.
amazing.
Okay, you leave my goth mum and dad alone. I wanted to see what happened to them when they growed up after they had their fun, freaky adventures in the 90s.
I'd be
And now
there
I
for
got to
Goth
see it.
Mum and Dad, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
If it's not obvious by now, I fucking hated this movie.
I was
true. There's a
I
lot
was
to hate.
so
honestly.
frustrated with it. Because
Like the opening with these 2 perverts watching like a Trinity with a different skin on doing a thing, and I'm like, what is this stupid movie? And then it's like, oh, it's been a video game the whole time, and I'm like, was it? And then I was like, oh no, it wasn't. Oh no, I hate this movie. I was so ready to bail, but I had to watch it. That's 2.5 hours I'm never getting back.
oh, Jill,
And this is not the first movie that I've wanted to walk away from either. But because
Well.
we're reviewing it, I watched it.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Jill's a red pillar. Anyway,
oh,
The sacrifices
pillar.
we make for you guys,
Yeah.
honestly. To be honest, I didn't care enough about it to like hate it with Venom.
What's wrong with Venom? Was he in the film?
A little bit might have fallen
Fucking
asleep
could
at
have
some
been.
point and had to backtrack. But
I
I
did
don't.
too.
I don't think there's a film. I just think we're all very tired at the moment.
it's true. Everyone's a lot exhausted. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
by watching the
Not
news, everyone's kind
interested
of like,
in watching this movie, so I was waiting for it to do something cool to make me interested, and it did nothing.
There
No.
have been times that I really haven't wanted to watch something, and I've watched it because we were going to talk about it extremely reluctantly, and I've ended up having a great experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's
That's what I
the
was
end of
hoping.
that story. I got the exact experience that I thought I would get out of this movie, to be honest. Like, I can't be mad at it because I liked it as much as I thought I would like it.
I got what I was afraid I was going to get out of this. Like, I was looking at it going, fuck, I really hope they don't. Oh, shit. They have.
terrible people just being
Tell you
so
what,
unkind to this
I got
movie.
out of this movie, and then Dion, you can like bring it back up again, but I'm just going to tear it down a little bit more. Lazy script, extremely phoned in acting,
Mm-hmm.
and cinematography so poor that they spliced half the movie with old footage. If I paid to go and see this movie, I'd want my money back.
I will say there was quite a few moments in it where I was like, did we shoot this shit on video? Like,
Yeah. What was up with Neil Patrick Harris's frame rate at the end?
I didn't understand it. Like there are all these effects and shit that were put in.
So many effects that were so fucking bodgy and poorly executed that just did not make any sense to what was happening in the film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you
I'm
rate it
glad
then,
you
Jill?
mentioned that Neil Patrick Harris thing because I honestly thought, is my file corrupt? Is there something fucking wrong here?
Shh. You can't say we downloaded it.
Is my file from HBO Max corrupt? Yeah.
Well, come on.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right,
right,
Dion,
let's go into
punch
ratings.
up.
Punch
Okay,
up.
no. You're gonna drag it back up into positive territory,
yeah.
Dion. Go on.
Look, you know, The Matrix Resurrections is look, it's a fun little aside into it. It almost felt like it was written by an AI, which is kind of meta in its own sense. You know, I got a few of the things that I wanted out of it, although I still like I have this weird nagging sensation that that Lana doesn't know who Neo is.
Maybe she didn't write that part in the first three movies.
Like, doesn't understand it, but had a really nice subtextual understanding that Trinity is actually, you know, the other half of it, or the greater half of the whole Matrix trilogy.
I like motorbikes.
Kind of, yeah, fuck. That's Tiff. That's not Trinity. That's Tiff. Tiffany is a different character, you see. Trinity, we only got to really see Trinity at the end.
Tell me
of the
more,
film.
Chad.
Everyone else in it just felt really weird, and there was some some disappointing inclusions that had no particular reason, but there was some lovely expansions onto the world if you were into that sort of thing, like understanding that it takes place in a timeline that is 20 to 30 years past the last Matrix film that we saw, and that the society on the planet has evolved to a
It's like
different
60.
level. Yeah, something like that, like whatever.
It was meant to be 60 years after
60
the
years
first
after.
one.
Okay, I thought, well, at least they kept the timeline going and that things had evolved. I mean, it's funny that like I was waiting for them to keep pulling out the flip phone Nokia, like the clack phone and all that shit. If they kept that in for the bits where they were doing modals, I would have been like, absolutely, because that's what it was supposed to be doing. It's a little thing, but they had a little bit too modern, a bit too much of a modernist take on it. And it was just, you know, some good ideas, I think poor execution, and it just kind of, I'm not sure where to go with it.
Feel modern enough. It felt like it was.
It's supposed to be hundreds of or 1,000 years into the future or something like that, and they still don't have any versions of society that make it better than what we have.
If the original one was like so futuristic and edgy, how come if this is like way into the future in their time, like the fashion has not evolved?
No, of course.
I mean, they don't have much to work with, to be
And
honest.
like,
And also,
how about
are there
like,
no
okay,
colours?
this is like 20 years later, this is where we see edgy futuristic fashion now. I wasn't seeing any of that.
Do you mean inside the Matrix or outside of
anyway.
it?
No,
I feel
inside
like,
the Matrix.
well, I just feel like maybe that's because the machines that are programming it aren't very creative.
But also the people who
They're just
get to
programming
program
it
their
based
own
on the
world.
world that was when they took over the world.
Yeah.
That's how I would answer it. See, there you can answer some questions.
Oh, you can worm your way out of anything.
Especially with
I
this
think we
movie.
should probably rate this because I do want to. I think we've got a lot of shit to talk about in the spoiler section.
Yeah. No doubt,
so-
no doubt. I'll go straight ahead because I think I'm going to give it the highest rating out of everyone. But
Probably.
there were some great things that I actually had a fun time with. I want to go back and watch it again to see if it is just either as good or bad as I remember after the first watching.
I'm amazed you want to watch this again.
Well, I do. I don't. I think everyone was kind of giving it their all to try to have a bit of fun with it, even though it did look like Keanu Reeves was confused for the entire time.
He's like, wait, was it a video game?
Yeah. At some point, it's like, you remember The Matrix? It was a video game, and like he's like, okay, yeah, I remember that. We were doing a video game.
I'm pretty sure I remember being in that film.
Yeah.
But am I a programmer? Whoa.
I don't know why that I had not a bad time with it, but I'm gonna go 65. I had a better than average experience apparently. I don't know why. I can't explain it. I just don't have a hate on for it.
I'm a little bit with Dion in that, like, I can't bring myself to hate it because I don't have that much energy for it to like to give it hate. And you know, there were some, you know, elements of that meta stuff and that extreme self-referential stuff. I was like, if you had even just leaned into that a bit heavier and just gone like a little bit more quirky comedy with it, I actually might have liked it. But there's like a confusion between, well, what does it want to be? Does it want to be funny and self-referential, which it was in moments, or is it being like a serious take on the next bit of the Matrix? And they were the bits that I liked less. But I don't know. I can't bring myself to like super pan it because I wouldn't have I'm not a huge fan, and I wouldn't have watched it, and I'm not mad at it. It just exists. It's a thing that exists now. So I'm going to give it a 60.
It's like Betamax. You're not mad at it, but it's still
Yeah,
there.
I'm not mad at it. I
It's
don't
not like
think
Betamax,
there was
'cause Betamax
nothing
was the
work
better
in it.
fucking format.
Yeah, well, I mean, shut up.
I mean, look, I did fall asleep halfway through it. Maybe I should give it a 58.
Are we sitting on
Take
58?
2 points
Kate?
off for the snooze fest.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, like I don't want to. I don't want to like. I've been much madder at things that we've talked about than I am at this.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. It's not necessarily mad making. It's just. Okay. Jill, do you have a numerical value for me?
I do. Look, I wish it had given me more than I think it was promising to give people. I think a lot of the stuff Peter mentioned, you know, the self-referential stuff, I felt like none of it was done with a wink and a nod, so I didn't find it humorous in the least. Man. And yeah, like none of the action, there was nothing groundbreaking in any of the fights. It was all the same, I'm going to push it away again. Get away from me. Oh,
Yeah.
I have shield powers. Get away.
Still can't fly.
I think the only other thing I hated as much as this movie that I have rated was Mortal Engines, and I gave that a 10.
Ooh.
So I am giving The Matrix Resurrections 9.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Wow.
Because if
Ow.
I could have turned it off, I would have.
Whoa.
Whoa, indeed.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a
That
video
needs
game.
like a longer ooh. Like if you could just give that another 50 more oohs.
Holy shit.
Yeah, a bit of a stinker.
Yeah. Okay. Fuck. Okay. I really, really, really didn't like it. And I thought that it did the criminal thing of not just being worse than its prequels, but being kind of insulting to them.
I love Dion's face right now.
It's like harsh. Like I'm just totally at the other end of the spectrum going, not bad. And everyone's like, that was the worst piece of shit I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh, have I been walking around in shit? Like, and not noticing?
What's that smell?
Yeah.
What the fuck is
Like
this?
when you've got a film that changed the face of filmmaking.
Yes.
Like when you've got something that did something so fucking groundbreaking that it got its own name. It changed the way that games were made. It changed the way that we thought about action sequences. It changed the way that we talked about, you know, anime being used in live action. It fucking totally changed the face of cinema. And
Yeah,
then you
it
get
wrote the
two
book.
it rewrote the book. Then you get two kind of shitty sequels that were at least still trying something. And then 20 years later, you come back and do something that is insulting to it. Meta narrative that doesn't lean in hard enough on meta, and a thing that doesn't like even manage to get half the cast back, but still kind of goes, Oh yeah, but that they are that cast, kind of, sort of. Shut up. Just watch it and smile. You've got a character in there called Bugs who is all about being the fucking White Rabbit, same character as the original thing, and I was like, that's not funny. It's not clever. It's just, and it was on the nose. So for me, it's 25. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah.
More eloquent hate on than mine. Thank you, Quinny. I like it.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
As I said, it's
wanna-
resurgence all over again.
I want to go for a clip, but also it doesn't really matter what fucking clip I could go. I could just play anything.
Hey, if you played something from the original movie, it would still fit. Because they did that in this movie.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys. No.
Give us original classic bullet time.
Yeah. Kind of dare you.
Okay. Well, I mean, we'll go to that. We'll go to a clip, and then we'll come back and talk a bit more in the spoilery session. So I've got a couple of things here. What can I play? We'll look at this deleted scene from The Matrix Resurrections. And
Is it deleted scene?
Yeah. Okay.
Trading for a package of sunshine and ravioli. Macaroni, if you want the thing you love.
You did it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody. It's great to meet you. Hi.
Deja vu is usually a glitch in the Matrix. It happens when they change something. It happens when they change something. It happens when they change something. It happens when they
Why use old code to mirror something new?
Maybe this isn't the story we think it is.
Yes, cool.
Always when we're least expecting it.
All I've seen those reacts in the chat.
Yeah. So much elf. So much elf.
Fuck you all for hating Matrix.
Okay. So my question is, if Neo was asleep,
Oh wait, the spoiler thing. Hang on.
and like
wait.
in the pod thing,
Yeah, spoiler.
isn't that the Matrix?
Yes.
Wait, what?
So how does he get into the Matrix when he's already in the Matrix?
Wait, when?
Sorry.
Wait, what?
Okay, so like the whole start of the movie, right? They're all like, you have to come back to the Matrix. But he's been in there the whole time. He's been in one of those pods.
They
Isn't
say
that
you
the
have to come back
Matrix?
to the Matrix.
No. That he's got to get out of. No, they're not asking him to come back to the Matrix. He's in the Matrix. They're asking him to come back to being not in the Matrix.
But is he in the Matrix or is
Oh,
he in a
wait.
modal of the Matrix?
So the Matrix is the fake world?
No, the modal was the world that Bugs discovers Morpheus in.
Yeah.
What's that?
So
But
the
isn't that-
modals were like.
But isn't that part of the Matrix?
They were yeah.
Wait, is in
What
the computer?
is the Matrix?
How the files are in the computer?
Wait.
Okay,
Is there a real world?
No.
Yes.
Okay. So
Well, yes.
okay. So Jill
Okay,
hasn't watched the
what
original for
is
quite some
the
time.
real world.
The
The
bit-
real world is where the people are in the pods with like
Oh.
yeah, and
So
the
if
Matrix
he
is
was
the
unconscious in the pod.
Yes.
His brain is somewhere.
Yes.
Was
In the
it
yes.
Matrix.
in
So
the
they
Matrix?
keep people in the pods simulating that they're in the Matrix, and that's how
Right.
like the machines get their power, right?
Yeah.
Why are they
They're
like,
like-
you gotta come? It's like he's already there.
No. He's gotta not be in there so that he can like fight the machines and liberate humankind who have-
Again.
again.
Look, I mean, there was a giant.
So wait,
like,
the whole start of the movie is them trying to wake him up?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a giant
Yes.
machine manta like spirit animal that was there. For some fucking reason, they reintroduced Niobe in the worst makeup I have ever seen for an aged
Oh,
human.
fuck me. Okay, so we're talking about Niobe now, are we?
Fuck yeah, it's spoiler time. We're all out.
Can
there.
I like bitch about fucking Priyanka Chopra as well? Like saying, hey, remember this rando kid from that one scene that you honestly don't remember because
That's
here's the
me.
footage? And it's like, yes, and now I am this woman and my dad built this thing. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't care.
Yes, you do. I mean, where were they supposed to go after they did that fight scene where there was just lots and lots of Smiths and they included things like a bowling ball sound effect? Remember that? That was in Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah.
At least they brought
Where
back
were
the
gags in
Merovingian.
this movie?
Like,
I mean, yeah, look, like this is where the more questions than answers bit comes in. But I've got to say that the one thing that I did appreciate about this film that I couldn't say before because it is spoilery, and that's that they like corrected the record of the very special boy. Because it turns out that Neo wasn't the one.
he's
It
not
was
the
Neo
Messiah. He's
and
a very
Trinity.
naughty boy.
Yeah.
And I kind of appreciate it, particularly given that the red pill thing has been co-opted by alt-right incel type
By
characters.
Tiffany's and Chad's.
By Tiffany's and Chad's. I kind of appreciated having a film where they go, actually, you know what? That entire time, Neo wasn't the one.
Yeah. And I knew it at the time. I was like, I don't think I'm the one. No, you weren't.
Yeah, you were not.
You were half the one.
Yes.
Also, that does kind of bug me because her name's Trinity. So technically, it probably should be fucking 3.
The third one is the baby they had.
What baby?
I don't know. Fuck it.
There is no.
All
there is
bets
no
are off,
baby.
Quinny. There's a baby. I wrote it. It's
The
just
other
happening.
character is the Matrix itself, you guys.
The third character are the friends we made along the way. Like literally,
I like
we
that-
made them with code.
I love the fact that, and I'm sorry that I said it earlier, that Jonathan Groff is the resurrection, the reintegration
The
of
reskinned.
Reskin Smith.
Agent Smith. But I love that Groff makes no attempt whatsoever to act anything like the original actor. Like, doesn't attempt the accent, doesn't attempt any of the fucking attitudes, or
No.
it's just like, yes, I'm Jonathan Groff wearing some blue sunglasses. Or no, so it's some cool sunglasses.
I do love that he even screams Mr. Anderson at one point, and yeah, it sounds nothing like Hugo Weaving. Like, not even just an inflection or an intonation, or like, it's kind of like someone said to Jonathan Groff, is like, hey, you watched The Matrix, right? And he's like, oh yeah, totally. He'd never seen it. And then like, you want to be in the film? He's like, oh, I loved it. Yeah, I'll be in it. And then it's like, you're playing Agent Smith. He was in the first one. It's like, oh yeah, I remember him. And then just
I'm
walk
like,
on the
can
set
they
going,
please just make another season of Mindhunter so he didn't have to do this movie? Because I really want more Mindhunter.
Look, I feel like if you got offered a role in a new Matrix movie and you've checked that Keanu's going to be in it, then it's going to like sound not a bad idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
From an actor's perspective.
It
And
does not feel like his lane at all.
No, it really didn't feel like his lane. But
No.
you know, maybe he wants to diversify what his lane is.
how do we
Be mad
feel,
at
how do we feel about Neil Patrick Harris's terrible slow-mo time instead of bullet time that he had, which is just his ability to just fucking do nothing?
I was less
out. Like, what's wrong with him? Why is he lagging? Like,
I was less worried about that it's the opposite to bullet time or whatever it was supposed to be, and more concerned that it was just like an excuse for Exposition City. And I think that a lot of this film was just an excuse for a lot of exposition.
Gotcha.
You know, it's like that great moment where the villain reveals their entire plan. I'm like, oh, everything has to be in slow motion to give him more time to say this.
Yeah.
But why wasn't it explained that he was just a new reskin of the architect? Like, I mean,
Was that
come
who
on.
he was meant to be?
No, he was a totally different thing who, you know, like basically but the stupidest thing about that, he's still a programmer who has bosses. And those bosses are people that he has to answer to. And we still never got to see the boss apart from the fact that it was a giant weird baby face from the fucking third film.
it was
Like-
interesting that, you know, he was even an antagonist for Agent Smith.
That confused me a little bit.
Yeah.
And
I think
and
it's
I'm kinda
because I can't remember the third movie very well.
Well,
Yeah.
Smith
And,
also
like, they
managed to
could've-
break his programming and go rogue, but at the same time, did he? I don't know.
I mean, they could have gone harder with that narrative, and it's like, oh, let's have Agent Smith and Neo team up, and they have to fight this guy to save the Matrix or whatever their prerogative is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say this is definitely not something that's going to bring new audience to the franchise
Oh, fuck
because
no.
it does not make any sense without prior knowledge of these things. And I was still texting you guys
Even with the
being like,
help
what
of
are
the
the
spliced
extras?
old footage.
Yeah. Yes, Dion, what are the fucking exiles?
Oh,
I was so confused.
What do you
in that
mean
bit.
you don't know who the exiles are? The exiles were perfectly well explained in Matrix Reloaded.
What, as the Merovingian in a bad wig and makeup went, oh, we do French, blah. And I was like,
it
what?
was Mulder and Scully. Oh wait, that was the X-Files.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Fuck you guys. No, it was Bruce Spence in a bad wig and bad teeth. He was the train ride. No, the
I like
exiles.
Oh wait,
Yeah, the exiles were
Who was that guy?
the exiles are programs that were that the Matrix tried to have around that were too powerful or just served the purpose, or they're notoriously hard to kill, so they weren't working. But they're basically like all the werewolves, all of the vampires, everything like that were exiles, like the ghosts, the twins. So the exiles are just people who were no longer useful to the Matrix that just kind of got cast out into program land. And they stuck around, and that's how you get all these things. Oh, fuck if I know. Like, they're just trying to write shit in. You know, vampires are actually old programs. Done. You know.
Did anyone else get like a slightly kind of Good Place vibe from Neil Patrick Harris's architect? You know, he's building his like own version of the world to keep the humans in.
Yeah, kind of, but it's
Cleo
also.
wasn't paying attention by the end.
I mean, I like that they explained at least the part where they, you know, the reason that it took them 100 years or whatever, however, 60 years to do it is because they did actually blow up, and it was really hard for them to find enough genetic material to regrow them and like get their brainwave patterns and all that kind of stuff and put it together. And especially if they kept experimenting like that, and when they let them touch, they'd blow shit up, and it was just like, okay, fine.
And that gets back into but why territory for me, because I never understood how Neo's powers translated to the world outside of the Matrix, because it was just never explained and doesn't make sense. And yeah, physics. It makes perfect sense inside the Matrix because the Matrix is a program and he has a special ability to work within that program in a way that the others can't. But in the real physical world, I just don't understand it.
Because
so what their proximity has to do with anything
Everything's
is a massive mystery to me.
connected, Peter. Everything is connected. Like
Is it
is a human
how?
body that can affect the construct world, and you know, as he found out, he's actually, you know, a construct idea can affect the real world because it's all connected. Because all the robots have to receive signals, and he's a master of signals, and that's how he can do things in the real. I don't fucking know. It's the Force. It's got a lot of midi-chlorians.
In that first film, I had no huge problem, or in that first trilogy, whatever, I had no huge problem with Neo being able to affect shit, because if the guy is essentially a super user and has full admin access to the internet, which is the Matrix, and has a Wi-Fi connection, which seems to have now gotten into his brain, there's no reason at all why he can't log into the things that are following him and tell them to shut down. Like that's my explanation for why he has powers in the real world.
Yeah, but trying to explain
the
why
powers
he
that he
has.
was using.
Well, in the like he could shut down Sentinels. That was about all he could do, wasn't it?
Really? I thought it was more telekinesis than that, but I could be remembering it wrong.
It's fine, but remember that Smith also downloaded himself a copy of himself into a human body, so it goes both ways.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. One idea that was interesting that I wish they'd maybe done more with was the ability for programs from the Matrix, a la fucking Lawrence Fishburne, not Lawrence
Morpheus.
Fishburne. Morpheus, that guy, him, as things made up of tiny beads.
Yeah, that other thing that they introduced.
I was like, okay, that's vaguely interesting. I thought it was interesting that they now had machines that were on their side and they were trying to, you know, free from the bonds of the Matrix. if you're going to do something that follows on from the end of that last trilogy, 60 years in the future, talk about how now humans and machines are living together and trying to understand each other. You know,
It kind of feels like, oh, the pop-up ads are our pets now.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So what I really didn't understand, though, to that was the end of the film, or where the film actually went. Because I agree, Quinny, that like that thing that was interesting. That you know, some of the machines are on their side and part of the resistance. I don't understand really the end where like superpowered Neo and superpowered Trinity go back into the Matrix to beat on Neil Patrick Harris a little bit. And then they're like, we're just going to rebuild this one. And like, no. The point is that you want to free humankind outside of the Matrix. Why are you just rebuilding the world in the Matrix and flying around? Like, I don't.
So that we can be happy batteries. It's like the whole concept of why they are trying to free people from the Matrix, because people are essentially being consumed by a system that they don't understand, capitalism, is a perfectly interesting and cool sort of story. But if you don't do that, if you just leave people in the Matrix as happy batteries, what are we saying here? Maybe simulation is actually better. Don't ask questions. Go back to your fucking
that was like the character from the first one who was like, I know that it's not real, but it tastes fucking good. All I want is I want you to chemically hit my brain with all the things I want until I become useless and can't create any more energy. And honestly, as we have seen in the current pandemic, there's a lot of people out there who would be totally like, plug me in. I'm happy to not worry about everything.
Was I reading that right at the end? Like that was their end game? They're just going to now rebuild the Matrix the way they want to rebuild the Matrix so that the batteries are happier?
I don't know. So. I don't know what they're fucking trying to do, because there seems to be a couple of different stories. Like there was the one with Niobe City, fucking whatever was going on there, where they had successfully grown a strawberry. Amazing. Thank God they can finally grow a strawberry. And that was the start of where they're going to go. Or there was that thing at the end where they stopped Neil Patrick Harris's slow-mo dude from completing his mission of keeping Neo in the Matrix.
Like Neo and Trinity, keeping them in the Matrix
just
close to each other.
Enough, but you know, don't.
Yeah, no, it kind of ruined the whole thing about
that's that whole magnetic thing. You know, you can't have it too, because if it touches, they just click and the charge goes
If
away.
I had have explained that made them some sort of superconductor and it was a really great source of energy and could power the planet, and that was.
But I think that was the idea, because they didn't want Neo and Trinity to be separated, which is why the architect made all of the mistakes that he did.
But wouldn't that just have fucked stuff up as soon as they pull Neo out of the Matrix, and they're like, oh shit, the main battery's gone down. Like, warning, you know.
I still feel like they're like, it weirds me out that they're doing things on such a small scale. Like this supposed savior of all of humanity and perhaps all of the machines as well is still only dealing with like a kind of pissant little Neil Patrick Harris program. And when they tried to do stuff on a grander scale, maybe that's where it all lost its shit. I don't know. But I mean, I think there's a lot to be mined from it if anyone can be fucked. I can't.
Yeah, like as I said, written by, it felt like, you know, good ideas that were somewhat poorly executed because they hadn't been logic bombed enough. It's like, but why would this happen? Like, yeah, they need Peter. This is your calling in life.
You needed to be in that room, right?
You've got to go to Hollywood and just stand there and go, but why?
But why?
But why? You know,
I just be in the corner, just periodically.
Well, you should just read scripts and have a big red stamp that just like this part. But why? Like, you know,
why?
Don't know why.
Yeah,
I can't do that.
And I like the, as Tari's putting it, the more you think about it, the less it makes sense.
Look, I know.
That's
Look, as
pretty much the film.
Like, there were a lot of parts that I fucking hated about this. Like, I didn't give a shit about the fact that it needed zombies. So, like, you know,
Fuck, I hated the zombies.
It already had a swarm, like the swarm in the real world with the tentacle like machines that were hunting down the humans, which were a scary thing, and then they kind of disappeared. They were sort of mentioned there, but they were disappeared, and then they just replicated that swarm in the computer world, which meant that a whole bunch of humans became zombies. So did that actually happen? Did they just did all their batteries in one tower just die as they got like subverted by the programming? Like, why would anyone try and escape from the Matrix if the Matrix can just turn them on and off at whim? Like, you see, these are the things. But why?
I also didn't understand the whole to free Trinity, she had to be somehow plugged into bugs for a bit moment. Like, I tried really hard to understand it, and I couldn't quite figure it out at all. I don't know if like you guys can shed any light on it.
I don't think we need to.
Okay.
Providing
because that seemed like a reasonably, big part of that end fight scene.
Providing
I think
clarity.
it was something to give the actor who played Bugs something more to do, because she became entirely fucking superfluous to 90% of the plot.
Yeah, I can't respray a 1979 120Y Datsun and tell you it's a sports car.
Oh, actually, that is something I do want to find. I want to find what
A
Fel
120Y Datsun?
No, I don't give a fuck about a 121.
I feel bad for the girl that played Bugs. I don't know what her.
Because she was in Iron Fist.
She was in Iron Fist. She was Colleen Wing, and she was also
Yeah.
very much underplayed in that series as well.
She had
her fucking Iron Fist, it would have been a way better show.
God, yes.
Did we enjoy
watch the
the
shit
fighting
out of
and
that.
the action scenes? Because I got to say, I was pretty underwhelmed by them.
I made the statement that it was shit.
Right. Well, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I love.
I'm sorry,
that-
have we not been listening to Jill?
I love that.
Why are we rehashing this?
We
stuff?
went from Neo, who could float around and do all sorts of stuff and basically fight
Neo
in
was
midair.
just like, no.
But now he's just got force
no, I've
pushing
had
people.
enough.
He's like, I've got a force
Yeah.
field. I've just got a force
Like,
field. It's like
just stop.
he did,
Just stop.
like, he did the John Wick. Like, John Wick is great, and then they just totally did something different. I was
Yeah,
like, oh.
don't make this movie. Just go back to making John Wick 4. Fuck.
Okay. I found the quote that our lovely producer Fel said, and I really liked it because this is a very interesting and clever thing that she posted. And then I went, "Is that your review?" And she's like, "Yep."
Oh.
Okay, so this is from, I think, the real
Tom
thing.
Stoppard.
Yeah. Henry brandishes a cricket bat. This thing here, which looks like a wooden club, is actually several pieces of particular wood cunningly put together in a certain way so that the whole thing is sprung like a dance floor. It's for hitting cricket balls with. And if you get it right, the cricket ball will travel 200 yards in 4 seconds, and all you've done is give it a knock, like knocking the top off a bottle of stout. And it makes a noise like a trout taking a fly. What we're trying to do is write cricket bats so that when we throw up the idea and give it a little knock, it might travel. So then he picks up a script. Now, what we've got here is a lump of wood of roughly the same shape, trying to be a cricket bat. And if you hit a ball with it, the ball will travel about 10 feet and you'll drop the bat and dance about going, ow, with your hands, and you'll stick them into your armpit. This is the thing. The first one was a fucking cricket bat. It was cunningly made. It was sprung. Shit hit that and it sounded amazing and it went for fucking miles. This is a lump of wood. Not even a particularly well carved lump of wood.
It's just a 2x4.
Opened with that, we could have wrapped this up 45 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
But we had fun concordantly.
Vis-a-vis.
Fuck off.
What do you mean, Jill?
How do I get out of this simulation?
Someone get me out of this chicken shit outfit. You've got to take the pills.
I know.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
And yes, a couple of people have mentioned Cyberpunk 2077, where Keanu Reeves plays the same dude.
Yeah.
Johnny Silverhand, I'd prefer that, thanks.
Well, fuck it, Johnny Mnemonic, if you're going to go all the way back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, come on, there's a cyberpunk guy, and that is Keanu Reeves. Do you want to see another Matrix movie? I don't think anyone is looking forward to it. Although, would you like to see... Lily Wachowski's version. I would watch Lily Wachowski's version just out of curiosity, out of sheer like, what the fuck is going on?
I'd watch it, but I'd be thinking of Wilma.
Weird. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I cannot obviously. You can make your own opinion if you liked it or if you want to. I can't recommend it to anyone.
No.
If you want to go see it, sure, have a crack at it. It's going to be interesting in a few of those moments. You'll be like, "Hey, I remember that." But yeah, I can't really recommend it to anyone.
Right. Okay, so a little bit of an update on what's happening for the rest of the month.
Yes.
Because people have been asking.
Yes. Usually we put a schedule out, and now people expect it.
Yeah.
I was like, no, that's so 2021.
I didn't want to say it, but
Yeah.
2022 is this whole back to the original formula of like,
Back to formula?
no homework. You don't know. What you have to do is consume every piece of media available in the off chance that we decide we're going to review it on a Tuesday, and we won't even tell you.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
So-
we haven't actually. We've been really busy. We're still struggling with this plague, which we're having
making a schedule.
We've got no guidance from the government
have a
about what we're
draft.
supposed to do.
We do
We're
have a
making sure
draft,
that we
but
we've got a draft.
I think the main thing to flag at the moment is we're going to be taking a little bit of a break on Fridays just for January.
Like easing in slowly.
Ease in. Yeah.
Um,
Nobody move. Everyone go real slow into 2022.
So yes, Casper has raised one there that
Ooh.
I think is definitely going to be on the potential list.
Potentially. There was
Um,
also a very big season 2 of something came out over Christmas, which we should probably look at.
Bridgerton.
Oh yeah.
Bridgerton.
Oh no, we're still waiting for the season to Bridgerton to drop.
Yeah, it's not till Feb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
There's
Sorry.
a lot there. A lot of television. So watch TV.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah.
my advice. Watch TV.
Yeah, and also due to a scheduling conflict that I'm not entirely sure whether is going to happen or not on Friday nights. Normally we would be doing animates on the last Friday of the month. At the moment, I am booked in to be either in a play or at a comedy show on both Fridays of
Wait,
the
you're
last.
in a play? Who
no,
are you
no,
playing?
No, watching.
Oh.
However, there is as good a chance as not that neither of these things will fucking happen, because currently we are in the world of. So yeah, there will be a schedule out, but at the moment Fridays are now yours again and ours again for the month of January, and then we will be.
We'll be.
Sorry, I just saw
Yes, we're
Chester
doing
Angela.
the fucking Witcher, okay?
and as an extra special treat, we'll also schedule out February as well, so you can get January and
Yes.
the rest of January. I mean, there's
Yes.
not much longer to go. Come on, guys, you've got Australia Day to keep you occupied. Jesus, leave us alone.
Yeah.
Um,
Yay, Invasion Day. Woo.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out. And we who knows if we go back into lockdown again, I've got some fucking Lego to build. So who knows what the fuck's going to happen.
Please, no, my wallet has not recovered from the last.
Don't
Lego.
mention the L word.
Not the
please.
not
Yeah,
the L
no,
word
I know,
around
I'm
here, dude.
sorry.
Like,
I'm keen for more Lego, but okay.
Oh, Lego is the good L word. The other one is not.
yeah, it's just about
Lesbians.
me buying Lego is not going to happen. So if anyone wants to donate Lego, I'm happy to build it. But I am still paying off the other Lego.
How'd your lighting kits go? Do you still need some help? 'Cause I'd
Yes,
love
I have
to
not
do
done
another
any more
kit.
lighting on the Mos Eisley. Like, I look there like it's something everyone can see. But like, yeah.
Oh, are you in Quinny's room?
Yeah,
Where
yeah, where
everything is
everything
magically
is just
around
with-
you?
Name a franchise, and I'll see if I can pick something up with it. No, I have. I haven't
The
done any
Matrix.
more.
Go on.
The Matrix.
What's Gossip Girl Day? What's that mean?
Oh.
Oh.
That's
Yes.
Druidic. Please explain. I don't know.
Yeah.
And at the moment, The King's Man is not on our list because it's currently only in cinemas.
Yes, like there is opportunity to see both Nightmare Alley and The King's Man, but I don't know how many of us
I've
are
heard
actually
Nightmare
willing to
Alley
sit.
is bad.
I don't know
okay.
how many people are willing to sit in a crowded room with people just to get the moment.
Nah.
Yeah, no, a lot of us will be like, yeah, not gonna do that. Risk reward ratio is not good.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we'll do probably a bit of TV and hopefully something else.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, we've got Arcane on the list. We've got Witcher on the list. We've got Cobra Kai season 4 on the list. We've
Oh,
got
yeah.
Firebite on the list. We've got
fuck, there's so much out there. There's a lot of
Peacemaker on the list.
Oh, fuck
yeah.
yes, all that shit.
You have stuff to look forward to, and don't worry, we've got you covered. We're going to do everything you're asking for because we live to serve.
Maybe not everything they're asking.
We even watched The Matrix for you.
We even watched The Matrix. Don't say I don't do anything nice for you guys.
I honestly, I will put my hand up and say I'm guilty of like, hey, we should do The Matrix, and then everyone's like, oh, do I have to? I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then again, another one of those pieces of content where everyone looks at me and is like, really, dude, really?
Oh, okay. So I've just learnt that January 26th in New York is declared Gossip Girl Day. So I'll be celebrating that from now on.
Yeah,
sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about
Thanks
Emily
so
in
much.
Paris Day? When's that?
Oh, fuck. Don't start me on that. Bullshit.
Like, don't even. Dion.
Oh, look, I mean, you guys.
Pete, let's just do another hate bang and say,
Can you stop
I fucking
feeding-
hate Emily in Paris, and this is the reasons why.
Can you stop feeding into Fell stuff? Because currently she's watching through Felicity, the television show, and I'm dying.
Okay, that's my
I'm
fault.
dying.
That's on me. That's on me. I'm also rewatching Felicity, the TV show, and I could say some positive things about it, to be honest.
I stood there and went, "Is that Scott Speedman?" And I'm like, "No, it's Scott Foley." And I'm like, "Wait, there's two."
No, there's both of them, both
one
Scott Speedman and Scott Foley.
The one positive thing that came from Felicity was Jennifer Garner.
Sure.
Always bless us.
Not the pink Power Ranger?
No.
Oh, look at it. Oh, thank you everyone in the chat. It's nice to see you all again. How was your
Happy
holidays?
2022 again. It's always lovely to see you.
Yeah,
This is our second show back.
Yeah,
yeah,
I know,
true.
yeah,
Good
yeah.
point. Sorry about the other one. Sorry.
Yeah, we did do another one, but it's
It was a
all
weird
over.
time.
Yeah, look, we'll get out.
Oh no!
I'm-
2 more seasons of Emily in Paris. After
I'm-
season 2.
I'm looking to hit my stride into this year around May. Anytime
Yeah.
before that, just kind of give it a bit of like, yeah, they'll get it. They'll get there.
I'm writing off January because next weekend I'm getting my booster shot, and it's like nothing is happening until I do that.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that'll give you plenty of time to look at Casper's selection of going to Stargate TV
Yeah.
series. Holy shit, there's enough there to keep you occupied.
I give you the thing of try and find Stargate the animated series. Come on. I
Wait,
dare you.
what?
Yeah, that's right.
Also, I will say that, yes, we still have to do Book of Boba Fett because I have opinions.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I don't know why we haven't addressed that yet.
No,
but,
it's
uh,
look.
Put it on the list.
I'll put it on a Friday. I'll do 3 hours, and you guys don't have to turn up. I'll just be there myself.
Sounds good to me.
It'll be
I'm
like,
gonna rename every episode of
Dear
Book of
Internet.
Boba Fett. Episode 1, I'm renaming to Bob's Bad Day. Episode 2, Bob's Bad Trip. Episode 3. We'll
yeah.
find out tomorrow.
Didn't you get it? It was a metaphor for Lawrence of Arabia. It's like, yes, everyone got that.
Hey, I've seen Lawrence of Arabia. It was very distant.
Dear. Look,
There
yeah.
was no Empire train in Lawrence of Arabia.
All I just I don't understand why I haven't been snorting lizards. If that's the sort of shit that's going to happen to me,
Yeah, I don't remember Lawrence doing that.
no, none of that.
down for it. All right. Well, should we? Thanks for joining us, everyone. We're gonna go. Quinny, have we got anyone to raid?
Yeah, look, let's
go and
do
raid
you want a coupe tato or the bedroom game? Let's
You choose. Dealer's choice.
let's go. I mean, we can go and do let's go to Bar Joe. We love Bar Joe.
Oh, Coop Tato is my friend, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, then let's go and raid Coupe Tato. I'm sorry, I didn't know that they were somebody that we knew. So that is a lovely thing to do.
Yeah. All right. Do. There's going to be music of the stuff.
Yeah,
it's on the
yeah,
podcast.
absolutely.
I've already faded out by now. You know, it's going to be real smooth, seamless transition.
So good.
Everyone's just going to be like, "Wow, that was really good." But you know, the YouTube.
But for now, let's go and raid. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
I wanna live in a world full of heroes. cubicle downtown. I wanna look out my window, see him flying, and swing across the horizon as I cheer him on so proud. Deep-powered girl keeps staring at her face, and call Colossus and have him teach me ways, and then we'd exercise. I'd be one of the guys. Learn martial arts from Iron Fist and Wall. I'll dance her up and teach her all my songs. Oh, I wanna live in a world full of heroes, not cooking up these heroes at my parents' restaurant now. I wanna yell out Avengers Assemble, not order up for Ethel. Yeah, we're out of cheeky now. Date Emma Frost and have her read my mind. Or Magdalena, her artifacts I find, and then we catch a symphony. It'll just be her and me. Call Bucky Barnes and arm wrestle for hours.